Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Whispers of Terror channel, where we delve into those terrifying stories that keep you up at night. Today, we have prepared two spine-chilling tales that are sure to send shivers down your spine. So, sit back, relax, and get ready to be scared. During the Vietnam War, in the dense jungles, a group of American soldiers was dispatched on a routine reconnaissance mission. Led by Sergeant Mike Thompson, the six-man team ventured deep behind enemy lines, completely unaware of the supernatural events they were about to encounter. As night fell, the team set up camp in a small clearing. Around midnight, Tom Baker, who was on watch, heard strange whispers emanating from the darkness beyond the tree line. At first, he thought it was the wind, but the whispers grew louder, forming a language he couldn't understand. Suddenly, Baker noticed movement in the shadows. Ghostly figures emerged from the jungle, dressed in tattered American uniforms, as if from a bygone era. Their faces were pale, and their eyes were hollow. Baker tried to sound the alarm but found himself too paralyzed by fear to speak. The ghostly soldiers silently drifted through the camp, passing through tents and equipment as if they were mist. Sergeant Thompson woke to find a ghost standing beside him, its mouth open in a silent scream. Thompson's heart pounded, and he almost forgot to breathe, but he forced himself to stay calm. He gently reached out to touch the ghost's shoulder, only to find his hand passing through thin air. Meanwhile, the other team members began experiencing their own terrifying moments. One soldier saw his flashlight floating in midair by itself, while another saw a long-deceased comrade smiling at him. The ghosts appeared as quickly as they vanished, leaving the team members shaken and terrified. The next morning, they found no traces of the ghostly invasion, but the memory of that night would haunt them for the rest of their lives. After returning to base, each member of the team became increasingly jittery from the trauma. Some began to have nightmares, while others refused to venture back into the jungle. They decided to keep the experience a secret, but the fear in their hearts never faded. Hope you enjoyed this spine-chilling tale. Now, let's move on to the next eerie story. This time, we will explore a legend about a haunted doll. Ready to experience more terrifying moments together? Let's dive straight into the next story. In a small and quiet town, there was a toy store that had been in business for over a century. The store was famous for its collection of antique dolls, each with its own unique history. Among them was a doll named Annabelle, which was said to be cursed. Annabelle was a beautiful porcelain doll with deep blue eyes and a delicate lace dress. An elderly woman had donated the doll, claiming that it had brought endless misfortune to her family. Despite the warnings, the shop owner, Mr. Thompson, decided to display Annabelle. One evening, a little girl named Emily and her mother visited the store. Emily was immediately drawn to Annabelle and begged her mother to buy the doll. Reluctantly, her mother agreed, and they took Annabelle home. That night, strange things began to happen. Emily's mother heard footsteps in the hallway, but when she checked, no one was there. Objects in the house started to move on their own, and the temperature would suddenly drop for no reason. Emily's mother tried to calm herself, but every night, strange apparitions seemed to surround her. Growing increasingly worried, Emily's mother decided to return the doll to the store. However, when she tried to leave the house, the front door wouldn't budge. It was as if an invisible force was keeping them inside. In desperation, she heard whispers, seemingly coming from the doll Annabelle. Desperate, Emily's mother called Mr. Thompson and explained the situation. He came to their house and immediately sensed something was wrong. He took Annabelle back to the store and locked her in a glass cabinet, hoping to contain the curse. From that day on, the store was plagued by strange events. Customers reported seeing Annabelle's eyes following them around the room, and some even claimed to hear her whispering their names. Mr. Thompson found himself haunted by Annabelle's ghostly presence, her face and whispers appearing in his dreams. Eventually, after numerous failed attempts, Mr. Thompson decided to seek help from mediums and exorcists. They tried to expel the malevolent spirit, but to no avail. In the end, Mr. Thompson had no choice but to close the store, unable to deal with the haunted doll. The toy store's door was marked with a permanently closed sign, while Annabelle remained locked in the glass cabinet, silently watching anyone who dared to come near. What do you think happened to them? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more spine-chilling stories. Next, let's go to a small town and hear a story about a haunted painting. In a small town, there was an artist named Ed. He was renowned for painting incredibly lifelike portraits, but people always felt an inexplicable sense of unease when viewing his works. Ed had a particularly notable painting hanging on the wall of his living room, a portrait of a mysterious woman. The woman in the painting appeared sorrowful yet alluring, but her eyes held an unsettling power. A legend circulated in the town, claiming that anyone who looked at the painting would encounter misfortune. Despite this, Ed remained enthusiastic about displaying the artwork, believing it to be his greatest piece. One evening, Ed invited a few friends over for dinner. After a few drinks, everyone found themselves drawn to the painting. Ed proudly recounted the background of the piece, but after the gathering ended that night, strange and ominous events began to unfold. The first friend, John, had a car accident on his way home. Although he survived, he could never walk again. Another friend, Mary, started seeing the woman in the painting beckoning to her in her dreams. The next day, she woke up to find strange scratches and bruises on her arm. Other friends also experienced various bizarre incidents. Ed began to feel afraid and sought out a medium in hopes of lifting the curse from the painting. After examining the painting, the medium's face became rigid. She told Ed that the painting harbored a vengeful spirit. This spirit was the woman's incarnation in life, burdened with immense resentment due to unfulfilled love. Her soul was trapped in the painting, and anyone who gazed into her eyes would be cursed. Desperately, Ed sealed the painting away, but the curse did not dissipate. In fact, it intensified, sparing even Ed himself. He started having recurring nightmares, always seeing the woman's eyes piercing his soul. He tried to burn the painting, but the flames mysteriously extinguished every time. In the end, Ed decided to leave the town, hoping to escape the curse. But no matter where he went, the woman's eyes followed, ensuring he never found peace. What do you think happened to them? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more spine-chilling stories. There was an ancient manor that had been abandoned for generations. It was said that a wealthy family once lived there, but they mysteriously vanished on a stormy night. Since then, the manor has been regarded as haunted, and no one dares to approach it. Until one day, a young adventurer named Jack decided to enter the manor and document all the strange events. He brought along a camera, recording equipment, and a powerful flashlight, ensuring he was fully prepared. As soon as he entered the manor, he felt a chill, and the air was filled with an ominous atmosphere. In the central hall of the manor, he found an old phone that should have long lost its functionality, but he was strangely drawn to it. As he approached the phone, he heard a faint static noise, as if someone was speaking on the other end of the line. He picked up the receiver, and a low, whispering voice suddenly came through, "Save me, leave this place." Startled, Jack quickly hung up the phone. However, his curiosity got the better of him, and he picked up the receiver again. This time, he heard a sharp crying, followed by a woman's voice saying, "We are trapped here, you cannot leave." Jack felt an inexplicable fear but decided to continue exploring. He climbed a staircase and entered a room covered in dust, discovering a large and intricate symbol scratched into the floor, as if it were part of some ancient ritual. The corners of the room were piled high with old books and papers filled with ominous text. Suddenly, the phone rang again. Jack jumped and turned around to see the old phone in the central hall vibrating incessantly, as if driven by 1,000 invisible hands. He was compelled to return to the phone and pick up the receiver. This time, he heard an even more terrifying voice. "You have nowhere to escape, join us." Meanwhile, the doors and windows of the manor slammed shut, as if an invisible force was sealing him inside. The surrounding air became even colder, with the lights dimming and flickering erratically. Jack tried to open the door to escape, but it was firmly locked, and he felt a tremendous force pulling at his soul. In his last desperate attempt, Jack instinctively took out his camera and started photographing his surroundings. Through the lens, he saw countless blurry shadows, which gradually grew clearer, as though the lost souls in the manor were reaching out to him. He felt an invisible force draining his life energy, and he eventually lost consciousness. A few days later, the police found Jack's equipment and some eerie photos in the manor, but they never found Jack himself. The curse of the manor remains unsolved. Just finished telling a legend about an ancient curse. Ready to experience more terrifying moments together? Let's dive straight into the final 2 horror stories. Jack and Lisa were newlyweds, just starting their life together. They were driving along a winding mountain road as the sky got darker and darker. All they wanted was to reach their cozy little vacation home in the countryside. As they rounded a corner, something caught Jack's eye. There, standing by the side of the road, was a dim figure. He slowed the car to get a better look and saw a young woman in a white dress. Her face was pale as snow, and her eyes were locked straight ahead, as if she didn't even notice their car. Jack muttered, "What's she doing out here?" Lisa, glancing nervously at the figure, said, "Maybe she needs help." So, Jack pulled over and rolled down the window. "Hey, are you okay? Do you need a ride?" The woman turned her head ever so slowly, meeting their gaze with icy eyes. She softly said, "I need to go to the village ahead." Jack and Lisa exchanged looks. Despite the eerie vibe, Jack nodded and told her to get in. But as soon as she did, they felt a chill sweep through the car. The temperature dropped instantly. Lisa recalled childhood stories about this area, tales of a bride who vanished one night, never to be seen again. They drove for a while in silence, the tension thick. Lisa, trying to break the ice, asked, "What's your name?" The woman replied quietly, "Anna." Lisa pressed on, "Where do you live?" But Anna didn't answer. She just stared out the window into the dark, dense forest. Jack felt uneasy and wanted to get to their destination as quickly as possible. In the distance, they saw an old, run-down house that looked really creepy. Anna suddenly spoke again, "Let me out here." Jack's heart raced. The house didn't look occupied at all, but he stopped the car anyway. Anna slowly got out and walked towards the house, disappearing into the darkness. Lisa, worried, called out, "Anna, wait." But Anna didn't turn back. Lisa bit her lip, deciding they should follow to make sure Anna was safe. They followed her to the house, which had a slightly open door. Jack used his phone to light the way and saw the place was covered in dust and cobwebs. It was clearly abandoned. Out of nowhere, they heard whispers coming from upstairs. Lisa clutched Jack's hand, her heart pounding against her ribcage. They moved carefully upstairs, finding a faint light seeping through the crack of a door. They pushed the door open to find an eerie, dimly lit room with old photographs and candlesticks on the walls. Anna was standing in the room, her back to them. "Anna?" Jack whispered. She turned around, her face etched with pain. "Thank you for bringing me home," she said softly. Before they could react, her figure became blurry and gradually faded away. Lisa gasped, grabbing Jack's arm. The room's temperature returned to normal, and the photographs on the walls became clearer. In the central photo, a bride in a white dress was unmistakably Anna. Freaked out beyond belief, they sprinted out of that old house, jumped into their car, and sped away. As they drove off, Lisa glanced back, seeing the house looming in the darkness as if nothing happened. Since that night, Jack and Lisa never went back to that eerie place. But no matter how hard they tried, they could never forget the ghostly bride they encountered on that lonely mountain road. Every so often, in the dead of night, they'd feel a chilling presence, as if Anna was still with them, haunting their quiet moments with her icy gaze. So, next time you're driving through a dark, lonely road, keep your eyes peeled and maybe think twice before picking up any mysterious hitchhikers. You never know what, or who, you might encounter. Stay spooky, folks. Now that we've finished that story, let's move on to another spine-chilling tale, straight from the quiet town of Hollowbrook, where everyone knows your name and every house has its own story. But there's one house that folks always avoid. Nestled at the end of Ashen Street, with boarded-up windows and an overgrown garden, it's known around here as the Forgotten House. Legend has it that back in the early 1900s, the house belonged to the Fosters, a mysterious and reclusive family. Whispers of dark rituals and witchcraft swirled around them. Then, one day, they just vanished without a trace, leaving the house to rot. Since then, no one has dared to step inside, afraid of the curse said to linger within. That's until Jenna showed up. She's a curious journalist new in town, and she wanted to crack this mystery wide open for her next big article. So, one late evening, flashlight and camera in hand, Jenna decided to brave it. The sun was setting, casting those long, spooky shadows all over the place. She pushed past the rusted front gate and made her way to the front door. When she turned the doorknob, the door creaked open, almost like it was inviting her in. Inside, the air was thick with dust and the scent of old, ancient wood. Every single step she took echoed through the empty halls, making her feel even more alone. Jenna explored the ground floor, but all she found were remnants of old furniture and a ton of cobwebs. Determined to find more, she headed upstairs. There, she found a narrow hallway with several doors, all leading to musty, empty rooms. But at the end of the hallway, there was one door that stood out. It was smaller, almost child-sized, and decorated with intricate carvings. Curiosity piqued, Jenna tried the handle, but it was locked. After a thorough search, she finally found the key hidden in an old vase in the living room. Her hands were trembling as she unlocked the door. It swung open, revealing a staircase leading down into complete darkness. As she descended the stairs, Jenna felt a chill run down her spine, and the air grew colder with every step. Her flashlight flickered, casting creepy shadows on the damp walls. At the bottom, she found a small, windowless room filled with dusty toys and children's drawings. Right in the center stood a large, antique mirror. Jenna approached the mirror. Her reflection was murky and distorted. As she reached out to wipe away the dust, she felt an ice-cold grip on her wrist. She tried to pull away, but the grip tightened. Through the mirror, she saw them, the Fosters, their faces twisted into sinister grins, their eyes hollow and dark. A whisper echoed in the room, "Join us, forever." Terrified, Jenna yanked her hand back, breaking free from the icy hold. She stumbled backward, knocking over a stack of old boxes. Papers and toys scattered across the floor, revealing a hidden trapdoor beneath them. Desperation kicked in as she flung it open and scrambled inside, finding a narrow tunnel. She crawled through the tunnel, her heart pounding in her chest, until she emerged in a dense thicket behind the house. Gasping for breath, she looked back, expecting to see the house looming over her. But it was gone. In its place was just an empty plot of land, as if the house had never existed. Panting, Jenna made her way back to town, shaken but alive. She wrote her story, detailing her harrowing experience, but few believed her. The plot where the house once stood remained barren, but every now and then, on a quiet night, locals claim they hear whispers coming from where the forgotten house used to be. It's as if the house and its dark secrets are waiting for the next curious soul to uncover its horrors. So that's the whole story. Despite reports from 100 years ago and recent research, the mystery of the forgotten house remains unsolved. What do you think happened to them? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more spine-chilling stories.